Hello everyone and welcome to the author interview with Andrew Holt. Andrew is the author of A Wise Apple Tree Helps Me. He is an educator, a facilitator and a visionary. Andrew, can you tell us what are the Wise Apple Tree books all about?
Definitely, Ocean, yeah. The Wise Apple Tree books are about empowering kids with different tips that they can use every day to be their best selves. Things like being mindful of watching their thoughts, being aware of their responses, gratitude, planning for the future, being present in the moment and overcoming your fears. And it's also when you're an adult and you read those, you get tips as well. Like it's a win-win for everyone. Like so whether you're a teacher, a parent, or anyone working with children, you'll find a tip there for you too.
Is it holistic?
Yeah, it is holistic. It reaches a wide audience. Yeah.
Very cool. What inspired you to write this?
I was inspired after 20 years of teaching, of just observing and being with children, just to and practice what I was doing in the classroom. Then I wanted to reach a further audience, and the format of a rhyme helps people remember that.
I remember when we had a conversation some time ago, you were talking about the frustrations as a teacher coming in from the playground and what you had to deal with. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, every teacher at recess or at lunch knows the story of a child coming and going, he hit me, she hit me, or he did that. And then, with mindful intention, you go, okay, well, what was this story from your side and that side? And then what could you do better? But then I took a step back and thought, hang on a minute, someone tell me a good story one day. And I was out of frustration, and I realised that my focus was around the problem, and the kids' focus were always around the problem. So we went back inside and said, okay, what do you want to see in the club? What do you want to see in the playground? And the surprising thing is, and many people would know, when you ask what you want to see, the first thing is what you don't want to see. People often respond. So then we had to go, well, okay, that's good. Now, what do you want to see? So they came up with things like friendship, kindness, and so we looked at how to be a detective for those things.
So you're creating a lot of conscious thought for all the kids, really, aren't you?
Yeah, it's all about being conscious and being self-aware. And then once you're self-aware, you can then take responsibility for your own actions.
What has been the feedback from those who have read it?
The feedback's Ocean's been phenomenal. Like from all different parts of society, they've recognised the value of it. So for parents, one mum said, oh, look, don't worry about the kids, I've got to read it first, and then I'm going to be a better parent. Kids have really gone through it in a couple of ways where they've looked through and they've discussed it with each other and said, you're like that, or maybe I could try that. So it's sort of been really good for them to work in small groups. I've had Anglicare recommended to some foster parents, just for a way of talking to kids, so being more self-conscious of how to talk to children. Paediatricians picked it up to take to her clinic. A dentist put it in her clinic in Kuroi. So there's a lot of people using it.
I often say to authors that what is the market for your book? And if they say to me, oh, it's everybody, I generally say, well, you actually haven't defined your market then, have you? But in this case, it kind of is.
It is, and I haven't actually mentioned the teachers as well, because teachers like it because there's just simple chapters on each of it, each page where they can just choose which one that fits their children for that week, and they have a theme. Parents like it because it's a conversational starter. I've had an Ayurvedic doctor say he's used it with his child with success with, just not all kids want to hear it from their parents, and so it's just like another angle where they can come through a book, through a little bit of a story.
That's brilliant. So what's your ultimate vision with the book? What do you want to see happen?
My ultimate vision is actually to go around, to have it in all schools around Australia, all primary schools and libraries, and to be part of that education curriculum.
It's a big vision to have, a BHAG as I call it, which is pretty cool. And when you walked in this morning, you're telling me that you're considering a road trip around Australia.
Well, I'm considering a road trip. I'm having to go home for a family celebration, and I've decided at the National Cherry Festival, and I'm going to do a book launch there in my hometown. A little bit further away, I'm going to Wagga, and there's Bega on the south coast of New South Wales. And then I'm looking to create that rest of that journey over the school holidays through summer coming up.
Before I ask my final question, I do want to bring up one more thing. For those that know me, you guys would know I have this incredible passion for New York City. And Andrew and our relationship began when he returned from a bit of a holiday over in Canada and the US, specifically New York. When he was over there, he had some quite interesting feedback on the book. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I travelled went to the United States to go to a Mindful Schools conference where there was 90 people from around the world and mainly around the States. And I had the opportunity to read my book out to them, and it was really well received. Like, they could see the benefits in therapist rooms and in schools as a really good way to support material that's already happening. While I was in Canada, I also did a yoga teacher training, which is part of my interest. And while I was there, I was given a link to meet up with a wholesale book supplier in Toronto, where she's taken on board the book and is showing it to schools.
Fantastic. Okay, what's next for you? Obviously, we've just discussed about you going down to your hometown and doing a few towns after that over the summer break. Long term, what do you see happening with Andrew Holt and with this vision we have?
Long term, I see it as incorporating into a kids training program and staff training program for staff as well as adults, and travelling around as a educational show or
visionary. That's what you are, man. I think that this is the incredible part about independent publishing, is that authors, when they've got a dream and they start manifesting that, all of a sudden it becomes very, very real. When you get the feedback that you've got, it's been quite phenomenal. And if anything, it motivates you.
Yeah, it really is feeding my drive to format I'd like to have it on a bus, on a van, going around to schools and then staying in a school. Many programs go to a school and introduce it to kids, but there's nothing for the kids, the parents, and the staff, like a whole community program.
See, now I know there's this page in this book where you've got the apples and you've got words of empowerment in each one of them. I can see the bus now with the tree hanging over the side of it and the apples scattered across the bus. Is that?
Yeah, that's my vision as well. And which apple will you bite today? Will it be courage? Will it be resilience? Will it be helpfulness? Now, we're all biting apples every day, but are you conscious of the apple that you're biting into? So, and then making that choice as well. And so that's many of the analogies that come through the book.
That's fantastic. If you'd like to know more about Andrew's book, have a look at the website. It's down below on the screen there. Also, for anyone watching overseas, specifically in the US and Canada, you can actually order the book from Amazon now. So jump on board, get the colouring book from Amazon. If you're wanting to order the actual colour version, the educational version, then jump onto his website. Thanks very much for coming, man.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, awesome. Awesome.
Thank you, awesome. I'm going to go with that.
Thank you, awesome ocean.
Cheers, Andrew. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.